Friends, buckle up. We're going back to the circus, that is U.S. trade policy. President Trump, in his infinite wisdom, has decided to slap a 25% tariff on all steel and a 10% tariff on all aluminum imports from Canada. Yes, you heard that right, Canada. Our friendly northern neighbor, the land of maple syrup and politeness. These tariffs are set to go into effect on March 12, 2025, and let me tell you folks, this is a bad idea. A really, really bad idea. Now you might be asking yourself, John, why? Why would he do this? Well, according to the Trump administration, these tariffs are necessary for national security. Apparently Canada, a country that sends us ice hockey players and Celine Dion, poses a bigger threat to our national security than, say, actual hostile nations. This is not the first time Trump has gone after Canada on trade. Let's not forget the steel and aluminum tariffs he imposed back in 2018, which are still in effect today. Those tariffs were also justified under the guise of national security, which, let's be honest, is about as convincing as a $3 bill. Let's call a spade, shall we? These tariffs have nothing to do with national security. This is about Trump trying to look tough on trade, even if it means hurting our closest allies. He wants to be seen as a strongman, a negotiator who doesn't back down. The problem is, he's negotiating with our friends, not our enemies. The reality is, Canada is one of our most important trading partners. We rely on them for everything from cars to lumber to, yes, even steel and aluminum. Imposing tariffs on these goods will only drive up prices for American consumers and businesses. But hey, who cares about facts and logic when you can appeal to people's emotions with fear-mongering and empty rhetoric, right? The economic implications of these tariffs are pretty straightforward. Prices for goods made with steel and aluminum, like cars, appliances, and beer cans, are going to go up. This will hurt American consumers, especially those who can least afford it. It will also hurt American businesses that rely on these materials, potentially leading to job losses. On the political front, these tariffs have already strained U.S.-Canada relations. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has called the tariffs unacceptable and promised a firm and clear response. Canada is already planning retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods, which will further escalate the situation. This trade spat is also undermining American credibility on the world stage. Why should other countries trust us when we're slapping tariffs on our closest allies? It sends a message that the U.S. is an unreliable partner, and that could have long-term consequences for our economy and our standing in the world. So, what's the end game here? Honestly, it's hard to say. Trump seems to think that these tariffs will force Canada to make concessions on trade, but Canada has shown no willingness to back down, and rightfully so. They're not going to be bullied into a bad deal. The worst-case scenario here is a full-blown trade war between the US and Canada. That would be an unmitigated disaster for both countries, but especially for Canada, whose economy is heavily reliant on trade with the US. The best we can hope for is that cooler heads prevail and that Trump comes to his senses. But let's be real, folks. We're talking about a man who once suggested injecting bleach to cure COVID-19. I wouldn't hold your breath.